Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with ASIS strike.
You have done your work and put us to the wall. We are not the slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report. I have not seen the report.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
the legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with ASIS strike.
You have done your work and put us to the wall. We are not the slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report. I have not seen the report.
Good morning and welcome to Africa's Finest Breakfast Show. It's Global Morning on Global Television, and I hope your weekend was truly amazing. Mine was heart pumping. Like you can tell, my heart is still beating really fast, trying to get around all that happened in the course of the weekend. Good morning, Jumai Mansi. How you doing?
I'm good. Good morning, Anthony Momodu. Good morning to each and every one of you out there. Hope your weekend was amazing as ours, keeping you back to back with the daily news and the most valuable informations making round. How was your weekend? All
right, it was a weekend of heartbreaks, starting from the 34th edition of the African Cup of Nations. My heart still pumping, and yes, the Eagles lost. It's so hard to say it. I never knew I was going to ever say this, but my darling Super Eagles let me down last night. It was heartbreaking. It was the biggest heartbreak I've had in 40 plus years.
No, it's not.
Just to add to that heartbreak, we also had the heartbreak in the financial sector, where one of the finest gentlemen in the business community, talking about the financial institution, passed on. I don't know, I know your heart wasn't broken in sport, but was it broken in the financial sector?
Of course, losing someone who has put in so much work when it comes to financial institution. Another person, that Herbert Wigwe, who passed on in the crash with his wife and his son, and of course one of an executive also in the financial sector, Olubumi, who also died in the crash in the United States, which is a very sad occurrence that happened. Of course, that is a very big blow in the financial institution. Of course, my heart wasn't broken, the AFCON. I just believe that the best team won, and I asked an individual. Of course, I asked the acting GM, and I said, "Okay, what did you think about the match?"
Can you guys see my face? My feast. My feast. The best team won. Oh Jesus!
The best, as far as I'm concerned, I am a patriotic Nigerian.
No.
But the best team that actually worked hard.
Oh my God!
I asked the acting GM, and he said,
"Can I take a time out on Global Morning? Somebody help me! I'm breaking my heart for the third time."
Well, he said something that was inspiration. I said, "Oh my goodness! It only shows that you are."
He doesn't love football, so he really says something.
I feel
like crying right now.
I said, "Uyi, you're a true Nigerian," because he said. I'm just happy how far the team made it.
No, we're not happy. We're not settling for less.
2-1, like that's.
I'm crying. Bucket is full.
And a friend of mine, an international player, he said he actually predicted the wrong thing. And I said, "Oh my good." We actually had a bet, and he said in his mind, "Do you know what, Jumai? It's gonna be. It's gonna equalize, but it's gonna be a penalty kick, and we're going to win." And I was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?"
I like to wake up in 2026. It's painful.
To all football fans, take heart. It's okay.
It's painful.
And then I saw something on social media where they were bringing out the eagle from the wall, and they were saying, no.
This is painful. I need Mr. Oyi to come and swap me on Global Money.
But I told you you're going to jinx the Eagles. I said, stop talking about it. You kept talking about it. I said, do not jinx the Super Eagles, please, Anthony. Now, they should hold you responsible, and they should hold you accountable for this great loss in accordance to football. Well, all the same, I'm proud of our boys taking us to the finals. That's something. That's that's very inspirational. Well, still, one person has to win and one person has to lose. All the same, we're happy. Thank God we got to the finals at least.
Okay, we're not happy. All right,
but put in the camera on me so everyone can get the expression of my face.
All right. Okay, we just know that another sad news as regards after the death of the financial president, Olubimi, like she rightly let us in. Let's also let you know that this coast overbilled 7.1 million customers in 9 months, and it's very worrisome because we also heard of a community in Anambra, Ohafia, community that didn't have light for 5 years, and suddenly they give them 2.1 billion naira bill. And I think this needs to be investigated as 7.1 million customers. It tells us this is another NNPC, this is another bunkering site for Nigerians, sucking Nigerians and collecting those money and putting it in their pockets. Yes. First of all, I think the Accountant General of the Federation has to look into it to see if all the monies in the last 20 years was the specific amount remitted to the Federation account, or was it going into another person's pocket? Because for you to misjudge your billing system, we thought it was automated, but to get 7.1 million Nigerians being billed for only God knows how many 9 months, then you can imagine what has happened for 10 years.
That's
so
a lot.
I think it's a very worrisome situation.
It is.
And I think it's painful because even light, we didn't have light across the 36 states of Federation to even watch what played out last night. So you can imagine how we feel. And for a community or half year, 2.1 billion naira in 5 years, you didn't give them even a flash, like we say, of light, and you're billing them. And now we're talking about as much as 7.1 million Nigerians. That's cash cow, like they say, for those in the power sector.
In that industry, yes.
Very sad story there.
Very sad story. And yes, investigations should be ongoing to be sure to know where this amount is actually going to, if it was remitted and how was it remitted, when was it remitted, accurate data to show that it was remitted, and truly if power was given to the people in Ohafia to state and tell them, okay, fine, at this point in time, you had light, and that is why. And that is why you have this accumulation when it comes to the monies which is being given as this payment you mentioned. But the truth is, investigations should be ongoing to be sure. And that's why this monitoring committee is very important, to monitor and know where the disbursements of these monies are going to.
All right, and we're truly calling on the federal government, the power sector specifically, and maybe we need the help of Jim Obazi this time around. He did it in the financial sector, he can do it in the power sector. Let us find out where this money is, who are these people subcharging or overcharging Nigerians. 7.1 million Nigerians charged wrongly for 9 months. We're talking about 10 years now where there's no constant power supply. We need to know where is the money. Let's follow the money and track the money. Also, very sad, not sad, but I think a good story from the NDLEA, arrest terrorists. I think this is what we want. We want more of arresting of terrorists rather than innocent Nigerians and shining with Nigerians. Now, arresting terrorists, supplier intercepts 7.6 tons of illicit drugs. Because for all these terrorists, the kidnappers, the bandits to perpetrate the kind of killings, hack people to death in their sleep.
Yes, they do.
In their farmlands, they have to be on something, high on something. And so I think the NDLEA is doing a great job by getting the supplier. Once you get the supplier, then we might be able to catch where the terrorists are, where their enclaves and hideouts are. So I think that's good news for the NDLEA. We hope they do more of this so that the war against insecurity will be total at all fronts. All right, we still got some other interesting stories coming out, talking about ensure transparency in federal government distribution of grains. We've got opposition parties like Labour Party, PDP saying this. How key is this?
Well, looking at it critically, we just have to sit back and actually look at where this information is ongoing when it comes to this of grains, because it's very important that we know that, to see whether first if it's realistic, number one, and to see where this is. You know, I got a guest on my program who says this is so unrealistic because
that's the distribution of the grains.
Yes, because there has to be enough data to show that, okay, if we're giving out 1 billion grains or 1 million to individuals in the society, we have to know which individuals have gotten, or some are, because definitely we know a lot of things are going to play out when it comes to this distribution. Like let's look at the palliatives, for instance, the coronavirus palliative that was given. Yeah. Exactly. So we know what played out. A lot of Nigerians came out and said they didn't get. Did you get any palliative during the coronavirus? Just look.
It didn't even come near my local government area.
Exactly.
Of the streets.
Exactly. So that's what we're talking about. So it's a sign of concern. We should be worried when it comes to this distribution of grains. And I think the political parties are in step in the right direction to ensure that distribution are carried out rightly and enough data are given to be sure that individuals will benefit from this particular distribution.
All right. We hope, like the Labour Party and the PDP has said, that the right monitoring mechanism will be put in place so that we're sure there's true monitoring and we can tell what amount of grains went to which state, which local government, which family, which household.
Exactly.
But don't you think it's going to be really difficult, knowing fully well we don't have data? Because we remember some few months ago, we're talking about the census. Nigeria have not done census for more than 10 years, and the need for census. Now we've not done census. How can we tell how many families in which street? Some streets have been demolished. Like for example, we have Kaduna State, for instance, when the Nasser El-Rufai came into power as the governor, he destroyed many communities and rebuilt them to standard, gave them new names. So how do you tell where these politics are going to go? And I think that was one of the reasons they had a lot of effrontery to commit fraud in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, where they said they were feeding children during a lockdown. And we're asking, how did you get the statistics?
Because they were not in school. Yes, exactly. But you know, it's very simple, and that's where I feel this monitoring committee should come in. A lot of individuals, all hands should be on deck. My own opinion, various locations, they should have individuals who are representing the federal government when it comes to the distribution of grains. We should have, this is a part of, you can employ people for this particular month and say, okay, fine, they'll be
like ad hoc staff.
Exactly, having ad hoc staffs in different locations. It will actually go a long way. So we'll be sure of the data, the accumulation, the distribution to families, to individuals, so that wherever it's going to, ad hoc staffs, it's very important. We can definitely get some. It's very important.
All right, so we hope the federal government and the relevant authorities can hear us loud and clear from global television standpoint of this global morning and do the needful. Now we're talking. Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to say something. Today is, of course, it's February 12th.
12th, yeah.
Yeah, 12th of February, and today is World Radio Day.
Okay,
so of course,
I know you're the queen of the airwaves, so you couldn't forget that.
No, I would not. So all our colleagues in the radio, World Radio Day, of course, sharing information.
And I think most broadcasters started from radio. I started from sports radio.
Sports radio.
I remember one antics I used to do then in Villa FM in Lagos. I was supposed to go on air, but then because I still had lots of butterfly in my stomach, I'll go for reporting, and I won't come back from the National Stadium on time because 1 p.m. was my program then. I know once it's past 1 p.m., I'll come back then. I won't go do the program because I was scared. But once I got over the butterflies, oh boy, radio was fantastic.
Of course, you know how it is when it comes to the mic. Of course, we say it's the MIC, and there's
something addictive about the MIC, right?
Yeah. There's something really addictive about radio, of course, to all our colleagues. Well, celebrating, giving, impacting the society with what we do when it comes to news, entertainment, when it comes to sports, when it comes to societal issues. Well, World Radio Day recognition is very important because it has gone a long way from that man in the rural urban area that carries a small radio in his ear to get that information. Radio has gone a lot and spread a lot of love and, of course, information to individuals.
I remember my first falling in love with the media was radio. There used to be this guy with a very nice voice. I would listen to this guy every time. I never imagined I could do radio, talk more of Getter.
I never imagined.
Here we are. And last night I was in a supermarket, and the next night I just saw someone trying to tune the radio. And I'm like, that's why how featured this place with all the new gadgets. Radio is still important.
It's very important.
You never do away with radio.
No, you never do. Anyone can actually assess the radio. It doesn't matter how minute or how large it is. They come in. There's
how rich or poor you are.
How rich or poor
how big or how small the radio is.
How small it is. There's something about the radio, and it gives that information to the individual. As in, it doesn't. For someone who is not even educated, can actually operate a radio.
They find their way.
You always find your way to tune it up and all of that. Well, it's very important. I found my first love in media was radio because I saw myself, my best, he's so rest in peace, Dan Foster was my best, and I always listened. I always loved his voice and all of that. And of course, D1, Kenny Ogungbe, all of them, those were icons that I always listened to. And
I wanted to get controversial with Kenny.
Be careful.
In terms of, yes, they were radio, but I felt like they were not truly radio people because maybe because I was first exposed to people with amazing voices on radio. So when I heard theirs, I was like, okay.
Those were the guys that held radio down. Like seriously. Well,
yeah, we give it to them.
We give it to them.
And I think there's this mystery about radio. You hear the person's voice, but you never see them. So you see them larger than life. Until the day you meet them. At times you meet those that are really wacky. And you be like, Jesus Christ, this is you.
Funny enough, my radio experience, there was a program I was doing. It was a sponsored program. And then I got so many listenership when it came to that program. And they were like, oh my goodness, I pictured you. People have this mindset when it comes to what you really look like. They think, some people would think you're on the big side, on the small side, you're tall, you're short. They just have this, it just gives you an imagination.
I think that's what makes that person a mystery.
A mystery. All right, it's World Radio Day today, the 12th of February. To all our colleagues, our colleagues, happy World Radio Day.
All right, let's get back to some very sad story coming out from Benue State. We were told that the Benue State technically is under siege as herdsmen kill over 500 in Agatu, Otukpo, and Akpa. We thought this Agatu, Otukpo killings had stopped. So it's again starting all over, and so it begins to make one want to agree with the narrative that it looks like Nigeria is being overrun by terrorists and bandits because it looks like it's happening in every part of the country. The southeast, we've got the northeast, southwest. So it's very scary.
Worrisome.
The fact that I think probably some people are saying the federal government should probably now focus on employing recruitment of more security forces, those that would, the National Service Park of policemen, those, the Nigerian Army, then also other paramilitary, because I think we need more security than anything else. So they should invest our funds in security.
Right now, as a whole, the economy, a lot of people are complaining security when it comes to the economy, one, and then unemployment, security threat. People are not safe anymore. Everyone is afraid. Even in the FCT, it's even worse. The rates of kidnappings, the case of abduction, and all of that is happening in the FCT alone. So for people who were, back in the day, was happening in the northeast. People were like, oh, it's northeast, it's far north, it's not, oh, it's not. Now it is closer to your doorstep. So this particular menace in the society, I will say, concerns each and every one of us. And all hands should be on deck. Please give the right information that you need to give. For someone that has a suspicious movement, you know what to do. Go to the nearest police station. And of course, the security chiefs have a lot to do when it comes. Security agencies have a big hand to play in this, because it's so unfortunate. People are losing their lives. Exemption to women and of course children. It's so sad. Not exemption, but everyone encompassed, both men, women, and children. And it's so sad to hear and also read about, and sometimes too sad to see.
All right, just before we go to the Global AM news, we're still getting some report as regards death. Very sad. The United States of America have said one of the reasons their preliminary report suggests that the chopper crash that killed the group chief executive officer of Access Holdings, Herbert, and the son, the wife, and others was because of the wintry weather conditions.
Oh, wow.
But my question is, didn't the pilots check the weather? This is a country we know there are much. If it was Nigeria, it's okay. Probably our weather system wasn't working. But because I remember Kobe Bryant, the basketball star, also died with his daughter. At a point, some people have this kind of sinister assumption that probably was this a deliberate act to take out some promising blacks and all that, because it's worrisome.
It is.
Weather condition is something the pilot should have known. They would have consulted with the weatherman.
Meteorologist. But the truth is, Anthony, I need us to understand.
Because this is the family, and we're going to watch Super Bowl.
Yeah, and you know, we should understand that the weather instruments, they are gadgets.
They can get faulty.
They can get faulty, and it can fail. That's what we should understand. And for goodness sake, wind, it's a natural phenomenon. It's something that is natural. We cannot predict such a thing. We just do as much as we can as human beings. But of course, you know who has the final say. God has the final say. And the weather can change at any time. We do not hold a particular remote control that says stop. We can only predict for a particular period of time. So I feel if it's the weather, I think it's the weather, because
they also have some, because some of the details we got, they're saying the helicopter didn't have the recording equipment, wasn't equipped. So you begin to ask yourself questions. This is someone we know is very wealthy. Yeah, of course. He can afford it. So why would he take a chopper that doesn't have a voice recorder and some basic equipment?
Do you think he was in the know? Did they give those kind of information and tell you, oh, hi, the chopper in which you're about to embark on?
But definitely he has an agent. If he's not the one securing the chopper, this couldn't have been the first time he was flying that chopper. Yeah. And so, no, but I'm asking, this is like manslaughter technically, because if you don't have the needed equipment, if the chopper isn't to carry...
So why put it up for people to use? So that's
especially knowing that he's paying you and he's going there with his family. So I'm thinking maybe his company or his family or his friends can sue the aviation firm for manslaughter, because if you don't have the basic equipment or certain equipment, I would have told him. So I think it's something Nigeria as a country might also toy with the idea if Nigerians would be daring to go that route.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right, but it's so sad. It's
so sad.
It's a very sad
because if you hear the story, how he and his wife were determined against all odds. They were working for this famous G Stuff Bank, and they had to pull out at a point because they felt things weren't going their way. They didn't have the resources to start up theirs, but that was their dream. So sad. And they got one other investor in, and voila. And now, from 2002 to now, they're one of the biggest, and this happens. Is a very sad commentary. Very sad.
Very, very sad.
All right, we don't intend to make your day very sad. We're sad enough from last night, and let's end with yesterday. All right, so we give you some business news, so that will give you, high points of all the big stories making rounds in the business world. Then when we return, it's going to be Global AM News for your delight.
Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Addressing journalists after the visit, Shade described the Nigeria World Bank partnership as comprehensive and very fruitful, expressing a commitment to further engage on critical aspects of the country's development agenda. The World Bank chief also expressed confidence that the bank would grow its current programs with the Nigerian government.
It's really important and quite encouraging to see all the important reform steps that are being taken in the country. And the partnership between Nigeria and the World Bank is very, very comprehensive and very fruitful. And we're here to make sure that we can continue to be very supportive as these reforms are being implemented and putting the economy on a path towards recovery. And that's what we really want to do. The World Bank will be continuing very much to support the reforms through various instruments that we have. And we will be actually stepping up our financial support to Nigeria in light of all the different initiatives that are being taken and all the needs that the economy has.
On his part, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wole Edun, highlighted the outcomes of the two-day meeting of the Western and Central Africa Ministers of Finance co-hosted by Nigeria and the World Bank. Edun said issues of development and concessional financing for the West and Central Africa topped the agenda of the summit.
It was a mini summit of West and Central African finance ministers with the World Bank group. And of course, issues of development, issues of concessionary financing and increasing the level of concessionary financing to West and Central Africa in this particular case, what was on the agenda. And we reported to Mr. President that we had a very robust discussion and the emphasis was laid on increasing, as we have just heard from the Managing Director Operations of the World Bank, emphasis was on increasing resources to Nigeria, to West and Central Africa, and also improving electricity access, growing the social safety net, providing greater support for digitization and technological development of our economies, and ultimately to assist in our search for solutions to the issue of development and leading our various countries out of poverty.
Emphasis had been laid on increasing resources to Nigeria, West and Central Africa, as well as to improve electricity access, growing the social safety nets, providing greater support for digitization and technology development of the economies, and to assist in the search for solutions to the issue of development and leading more people out of poverty. Uyi Agbomofwegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
All right, welcome back from that quick business news. I guess that's one of the biggest financial news. The World Bank coming to Nigeria to see the president in person. I think when the World Banks or international organizations pay this kind of courtesy visit, it's because it's the long run is for their own benefit and not just because they love you so much. This is business we're talking.
This is maybe their heart has been turned to the right direction to do the right things. Sometimes you don't have to be negative to say all of those things. Sometimes you'll be surprised that it's for a good cause to help Nigerians, and don't say it's for their own benefit. Because when they borrow us this money, it means we are indebted to them for life, as long as forever, and generations yet unborn will have to pay this money. And I'm crying already. We have so much debt already, and yes, coming to tell us you want to give us more. Are you that nice? Sometimes. All right, let's go with our own flow. That probably the World Bank is really nice, and so they want to give us more money to solve our problems. But we hope we'll be able to pay all this money. So it's time for us to go for the Global AM News, and hopefully you get other big stories making their rounds. Stay with us.